Hello everyone and welcome to Dyspraxia Awareness Week, hosted by the lovely team at Dyspraxia magazine. Today we will be focusing on dyspraxia and how it appears in the workplace. So let's take a look at the agenda for this short but informative talk. So what is dyspraxia? We're going to go through some common symptoms of dyspraxia, how dyspraxia impacts the workplace, the benefits of hiring employees with dyspraxia, the legal rights and protections, reasonable adjustments in the workplace, creating that dyspraxia-friendly environment, making sure that everyone feels safe and happy in their working environment. And we're going to go through a success story as well that goes through the struggles, the challenges, and at the end, what was actioned for one person that has dyspraxia in the workplace and her success story. So first off, hello, my name is Tania and I am a neurodiversity trainer. I am also an accessible marketing consultant, keynote speaker, ADHD podcast host, and ADHD advocate. So why am I talking about dyspraxia today with you? Well, I have ADHD and autism, but I also have undiagnosed dyspraxia, but I am going to go through an assessment. But through my research, through what I teach, I do teach dyspraxia in my workshops as well, and there are a lot of signs that I do have dyspraxia. So it is a real honour today to talk about dyspraxia to you all. What are the challenges? What are the solutions? How to evolve in the workplace, to feel comfortable in your working environment as well, and to talk to your managers and your fellow team members as well. So I'm very happy and very proud to be here today talking to you. So what actually is dyspraxia? So it's defined as the developmental coordination disorder, and this affects motor skills, planning, and sometimes cognitive functions. So it is sometimes referred to as DCD, developmental coordination disorder, and is considered a lifelong condition. So dyspraxia is thought to affect up to around 10% of the UK population, and up to 2% of this population has what they call a severe dyspraxia. Science suggests that it's more common in boys, and it actually affecting them 4 times more in boys than in girls. Now, as I just mentioned, dyspraxia can overlap with other conditions, such as attention deficit disorder, ADD, with hyperactivity, ADHD, like myself, dyslexia, and also conditions on the autistic spectrum as well, ASC. So it's really important to know that dyspraxia varies from person to person. And, no two experiences are the same, just like how no two brains are the same. So what are the common symptoms of dyspraxia? What does it look like? So they have a mixture of, motor, cognitive, and organizational difficulties. So such as trouble with balance, fine motor skills, time management, sequencing tasks. But there's also difficulty with spatial awareness, as well. So let's start with motor skill challenges. So many individuals with dyspraxia struggle with tasks that require fine motor skills, such as writing or typing. Handwriting may be messy, slow or very difficult to read, and typing on a keyboard can take more time and effort due to coordination difficulties. So physical tasks that involve balance or hand-eye coordination as well, like using tools, carrying items, or even walking through crowded spaces, may also be harder to manage. This can make day-to-day activities in the workplace, such as filling out forms, operating equipment, moving around confidently, can be more challenging. So moving on to cognitive challenges. So people with dyspraxia often experience issues with memory, organisation, and time management. So for example, they might find to remember instructions, especially if they're given verbal and very quickly. Organising tasks and priorities can be very, very overwhelming in the brain, which often leads to, confusion and unfortunately missed deadlines. This difficulty in planning can affect how people with dyspraxia approach tasks, particularly when they have to juggle multiple projects or manage shifting priorities. Multitasking may also pose really significant challenges, and they might struggle to break tasks down into manageable steps without clear structural guidance. So we can feel very, very confused if communication isn't clear. So in addition to motor and cognitive challenges, there are sensory sensitivities and difficulty with spatial awareness. These areas are the most common that we see. And they also may be more sensitive to noise, bright lights or other sensory inputs, which can make busy office environments feel very, very overwhelming. For example, they might find it hard to filter out background noise, when people are talking in the team and talking over, laptops, just a usual chit chat in the office, that can be very, very overwhelming. And it can sound very cluttered in the brain as well. Spatial awareness issues can lead to difficulty navigating through crowded spaces, leading to many bumps and bruises and accidents that can make them feel really self-conscious. Simple things like organising objects on a desk or estimating distances can become very big sources of stress. So understanding these symptoms is absolutely crucial in recognising how dyspraxia can affect daily functioning in the workplace. However, with the right support, many of these challenges can be managed effectively. So moving on to effects of dyspraxia in the workplace. So dyspraxia can present a range of challenges in the workplace, many of which can impact an employee's performance and overall well-being. So let's take a closer look into some of these key difficulties. So first, note-taking. So as we mentioned before, difficulty with writing. So note-taking can be very challenging. So employees may struggle to take down information, very quickly during meetings or training sessions, especially if someone's talking very quickly as well. It can, like we just mentioned, it can sound very cluttered, very, very bees in the head, as I say. And they need to focus on both listening and writing at the same time. This can be really difficult and can lead to incomplete or inaccurate note-taking, which makes it harder for them to retain that important information. Another one is organising thoughts. So many people with dyspraxia find it challenging to structure their ideas in their head in a clear, linear way. This can make it harder to complete tasks that require that planning, that require that writing, like composing reports or sending emails. It can also affect how they communicate. So they might struggle to present their thoughts coherently in meetings or presentations. So another common issue is actually remembering tasks. So particularly when it involves managing multiple projects or deadlines. So dyspraxic employees may find it really difficult to recall details or keep on track of what's been done, especially if they don't have that clear written part of instructions. This can lead to, unfortunately, mistakes, missed deadlines, or tasks being forgotten altogether. Working in high pressure environments as well can further compound these challenges. So dyspraxia often makes working under pressure more difficult. Stress can exacerbate these issues that we were just talking about with time management and focus and multitasking, keep that clear communication. And when deadlines are really tight or there's a need to switch quickly between tasks, employees with dyspraxia may find it overwhelming and struggle to keep up with the expectations. So in addition to these cognitive challenges, and poor coordination can affect an employee's ability to perform physical tasks, using equipment like office machinery, handling small tools, even navigating through a busy workspace can become more difficult for someone with dyspraxia. They may also have trouble with things like organising their workspace or managing physical materials in an efficient way. And finally, it's important to consider the emotional impact. So with all of what I've just said, all of what's going on, it's the emotional side of it, So many employees with dyspraxia, they do experience anxiety and low confidence a lot of the time, particularly if they are not performing to the same level as their other peers, as their other workmates. So, and if these challenges progress, if they're not recognised or understood by colleagues or managers, it can feel very, very isolating. And you can really be made to feel misunderstood. So this emotional strain can lead to, a very negative cycle where anxiety about their performance, it can further affect their ability to concentrate and complete those really important tasks. So over time, this can almost erode self-esteem and can make it even harder for them to ask for that help, or advocate for the adjustments that they need in the workplace. So acknowledging these challenges that we've just talked about, it is the first step towards creating a more supportive, a more inclusive environment where employees can, with dyspraxia, they really can thrive. So let's talk about the strengths, which are never really talked about. And it's a must, it's a need. There are so many strengths. So, while dyspraxia can present certain challenges of what we've just discussed, it's really important to recognise employees with dyspraxia and the valuable strengths that really can benefit any team, to be honest with you. So in fact, many of their experiences where overcoming obstacles can equip them with very unique skills that contribute to a more innovative, healthy, happy, creative environment. So one of those valuable strengths is their ability to approach problems from a different angle, literally from a different perspective, outside the box thinking, as we say. And lateral thinking, creative problem solving are really common amongst dyspraxia individuals. And this is because they often have to find alternative ways to complete those tasks that, neurotypicals might take for granted, might just be able to do just like that. And they develop a knack for, as I mentioned, thinking outside the box, thinking creatively, thinking, the other side of the problem to find that unique solution. And, they can give that fresh idea, that fresh perspective as well to complex challenges. So their experience overcoming personal and professional challenges also makes them extremely high in resilience and motivation. So dyspraxic individuals are often very determined to succeed, which is, I find, absolutely amazing. And I've seen it firsthand as well. And this determination, it really shines through their work, through their work ethic as well. So they've learned to push through those difficulties, which makes them reliable, hardworking, persistent, even in the face of setbacks. So in addition to this, they tend to be very empathetic and extremely intuitive. They are using their second brain, their gut feeling. So their personal struggles give them a really deep understanding of the challenges others face, making them excellent team members who can support and connect with colleagues in a really meaningful way. They often have a strong sense of intuition, which can help in understanding the needs of, customers, clients, even co-workers, their managers. They're also known for their attention to detail as well. So while organising tasks might be, challenging at times, as we've discussed, many have a unique ability to focus closely on specific details, which is incredibly valuable in roles that require precision. Apologies. So whether it's proofreading documents or analysing analytics or ensuring accuracy in reporting, checking for potential errors, this attention to detail is such a key strength that not many people talk about in terms of dyspraxia. They also have really good visual and spatial skills as well. So a huge advantage in fields like design, architecture, engineering, where understanding the space and the structure, the layout is super crucial. So their ability to visualize complex structures and patterns, this sets them apart. Multitasking is another area that they can, truly thrive in. Although time management can sometimes pose as a challenge, with the right tools and support, they can manage really effectively. They also are very good in strategic thinking. They're very good at thinking the bigger picture. And they excel in identifying those goals and creating those strategies to, contribute to long-term planning and innovation in a company. And I want to add their tenacity as well. So dyspraxic individuals, they do not give up easily. They've got a really strong sense of purpose, and are very determined to meet their goals when they have gone through the challenges that they have. It builds up that resilience, as I mentioned before, and overcoming difficulties. It naturally makes you a more resilient person. So by focusing on these strengths, we can see that employees with dyspraxia, they have so much to offer that is still not talked about, still not celebrated enough. Their resilience, their creativity, their unique perspective, it really is something to celebrate. But I think we're in a world where, thinking negatively is so much more easier than thinking positively. But it's important to know these strengths. So the legal protections for employees with dyspraxia. In many countries, dyspraxia is recognised as a disability, which it is, under a certain law. I was about to say laws. There are a few bills going through Parliament right now for neurodivergents, which is lovely to see. Whether they will be approved, ask me again another day. But it does mean that employees with dyspraxia are entitled to legal protections in the workplace. So in the UK, our protection is from the Equality Act 2010. And in the States, it falls under what is called the Americans with Disability Act, which is ADA. So these laws ensure that individuals with dyspraxia are protected from discrimination in employment, basically. And it is considered a disability under these regulations because it has substantial and long-term impact on a person's ability to carry out normal day-to-day activities. So employers are legally required to provide reasonable accommodations and adjustments to employees with dyspraxia under, as we can see on the screen, the Equality Act 2010. It is a very blank slide because, again, it is unfortunately the only law that protects neurodivergents like myself and people with dyspraxia, which I do hope one day will change. But this means employers must make those adjustments in the workplace to ensure that dyspraxic individuals can work effectively. And they're not put as a disadvantage compared to non-disabled colleagues, neurotypicals. And failure to actually provide these reasonable adjustments can lead to legal consequences for that company. So the reason why this law is here is to create an inclusive working environment where employees, whether you're a neurodivergent or a neurotypical person, you are supported and protected, and you can contribute fully to the working environment, to the company, and feel safe, basically. So making reasonable adjustments. So these are changes that employers can make to help employees with dyspraxia perform basically to the best of their ability. So these adjustments are designed to remove the barriers and create a more accessible and supporting working environment, as we just discussed with the Equality Act. So reasonable adjustments, they can take many forms, okay? So, for example, flexible working hours, flexible schedules. This can offer employees to manage tasks in a way that suits them best. Some employees may benefit from working remotely part-time, especially if they find the busy office environments overwhelming, as we discussed earlier. Another adjustment is the use of assistive technology. So, for example, speech-to-text software. This can really help employees who struggle with typing or writing. There's task management apps that can really break down projects into smaller, manageable steps that can also help with organization. So I use Trello and Monday.com that can really help with my neurodivergents. So another employer adjustment that can be made is adjusting deadlines, or give employees, that extra time to complete certain tasks. This can, basically reduce stress, reduce that pressure that comes with time constraints. And this ensures that dyspraxic employees have that time that they need to produce that high quality work. In some cases, physical accommodations are necessary. These can include providing ergonomic desks, alternative keyboards, or other equipment that helps employees with motor coordination difficulties. So by making these adjustments in the workplace, employers can ensure that employees with dyspraxia are given that really crucial support that they need to succeed. So how do we make a dyspraxic friendly environment? So inclusivity goes, beyond legal requirements, okay? It's about building a workplace culture where everyone, whether you're neurodivergent, whether you're neurotypical, where everyone can feel supported and valued. So one of the most important steps is, clear, structured communication. Okay, so managers should provide detailed instructions, ideally in writing, to help employees with dyspraxia, process that information more easily. Visual aids go a long way as well, which can be really, really helpful, understanding more complex tasks and workflows as well. And again, it's really important to kind of allow that little bit of extra time to complete tasks, particularly when an employer is learning something new in the workplace, learning a new tool, learning a new system. So dyspraxic employees might need more time to grasp the full instruction, the full program, the full service, to complete a task as well. So being patient, being flexible with deadlines is really, really important. And promoting a culture of patience and understanding is crucial. Encourage colleagues to be supportive and non-judgmental. And these are really simple, easy things that I'm saying. There's no jargon. There's no money involved. It's being a good human. And it's simple things like not rushing someone, or offering to help when needed. It makes a really big difference in the workplace, and it can really thrive on collaboration and empathy, where again everyone feels confident asking for support, having that support, without fear of stigma. So ultimately, creating a dyspraxia friendly environment benefits everyone, to be honest. It promotes a more empathetic and productive workplace where every single individual, again, whether you're neurodivergent or neurotypical, regardless of your challenges, can contribute to the best of everyone's ability. So finally, a little success story for us. So meet Emily. Emily is a 28-year-old marketing assistant, okay, in the UK, in a digital agency. And she was diagnosed with dyspraxia in her late teens. So despite excelling creatively, apologies everyone, Emily found some aspects of her job really difficult, especially tasks that require multitasking, detailed organisation, and meeting those tight deadlines. She often struggled with time management, felt overwhelmed by complex project management systems, and found it difficult to process verbal instructions quickly in meetings. So her challenges were she had difficulty taking detailed notes in fast-paced meetings. She found it challenging to organise and prioritise tasks in an environment that required juggling multiple projects. Writing detailed reports and proofreading were very, very time consuming for her due to her unfortunate slower typing and coordination skills. Naturally, stress and anxiety built up, and she was worried about keeping up with her peers. So, in terms of interventions and support, after a conversation with her manager about these challenges she was having, she was very brave. Emily's company decided to implement reasonable adjustments that would support her. So, the following steps that were taken was Emily was provided with speech-to-text software, which allowed her to dictate reports and emails, speeding up her writing process. Emily's team adopted a visual project management tool like Trello and Monday.com that I mentioned earlier that I use myself. This broke down tasks into smaller, manageable steps, and this allowed her to track her progress easily and stay organised to the point where the whole team incorporated Trello and Monday.com. And where possible, Emily was given slightly more time to complete reports or tasks that required intensive concentration, especially when it came to data and numbers and sifting through Google Analytics to solve problems, find solutions, find those opportunities. So during meetings, Emily was given written agendas beforehand and minutes afterwards, so she didn't have to rely solely on her memory or fast note taking. And a colleague, it goes further, a colleague was assigned as mentor to support Emily, particularly during periods of high pressure. She also participated in regular check-ins with her manager to discuss her workload and any difficulties she faced. So the outcome with these accommodations in place, Emily's performance significantly improved. Her productivity increased, and she felt less overwhelmed by her workload. Using visual task management tools, this helped her stay on top of all the projects without feeling disorganized. The speech-to-text software reduced her stress when writing reports, allowing her to focus more on creative aspects of her role. Her confidence and her self-esteem improved, and she felt more confident communicating her needs to her manager and her colleagues. And her manager also benefited from her enhanced creative contributions and a new sense of engagement. She was a whole new Emily. By making small but significant adjustments, the company was able to retain a highly valuable employee, improve team morale, and create a more inclusive working environment for everyone. Emily's performance and morale improved once the right support was in place, which included sensory sensitivities and difficulties with spatial awareness, completely gone, completely managed and supported. So there are some details on the screen right now, so please feel free to take a quick screenshot of this page right now to make sure you have that information with you when this video ends in just a couple of seconds. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me in learning more about dyspraxia, how it appears in the workplace. And I'm going to now pass it on to the next professional hosting, And I really hope you enjoyed the rest of this Dyspraxia Awareness Week event hosted by Dyspraxia magazine. Thank you again so much. Bye for now.